Okay, so today we've got three stories that are going to make your blood absolutely boil. First up, a waitress sticks her neck out to get a family friend's teenage daughter a job, and the kid turns into a total menace who flips it all back on her. Then, a woman flies across the world for a wedding and gets treated like a criminal by the bride's entire family. And finally, an aunt sends her niece's birthday money, and what the parents do with it is just shameless. Trust me. Oh, you are not ready for that last one. This waitress pulled some serious strings to land her mam's friend's 16-year-old daughter a job, and within a week the kid had turned the whole thing into a disaster. So for some context, I'm a waitress for events, banqueting. Been one for 5 years here. My ma'am informed me her friend is looking for a job for her daughter, who I've met like 3 or 4 times. She's about 16, so she can't work long hours like me, but just wants the money. I pulled some strings and got her a job, and within a week, I was in my boss's office getting given out to by how careless she is. She's dropping plates when someone talks to her, slacking off to vape in the toilets, and just being in people's way. The hotel is always busy, and I understand when you're new it's crazy. Been there, done that. But at some point you need a cop TF on. After the second week, I caught her giving free drinks and food to her friends in the bar. Expensive drinks and food too. I called her out on it and told her she either pays or her friends do. She told me she didn't give them anything and they've already paid, as if I can't check the log. My ma'am is telling me to coach her more and talk to her more, but the kid is like a rebel. She doesn't care what I say. She flirts with the older chefs who couldn't GAF and purposely falls in a male staff, who again couldn't GAF. I've tried talking to her on multiple occasions, but she'll just walk away. Yesterday, I caught her in the smoking area drinking a cocktail. I could tell she made herself by the color. I immediately called her out and practically yelled at her. She started crying, threw the drink at the wall, and left work early without letting anyone know. My boss is holding me accountable, BC. I referred her, and my ma'am and her ma'am are telling me I went too far. I just don't know. TBH. Am I the asshole? Edit. I'm Irish. This is Ireland. The legal drinking age is 18, but can be, I think, 17 under adult supervision, as in your parent ordering you a drink. Let's see what the comments have to say. This person commented, she needs to be fired. You put your professional reputation on the line for her, and she doesn't care. Another commenter said, plus Opie's ma'am and her friend don't seem to have a clue about how much Opie has put on the line for this girl or the shenanigans the girl is pulling. Not the asshole, not even close. You vouched for this kid, put your own name on the line, and she repaid you by stealing booze and tanking your reputation. You didn't go too far. Honestly, you went way easier on her than your boss ever would have. Not the asshole. So what do you guys think? Was this person the asshole? Drop your verdict in the comments below. This woman flew out to her childhood friend's destination wedding, and the bride's entire family spent 3 whole events treating her like she was there to steal the groom. Backstory: I, 26 female, have known the groom, 26 male, since we were in elementary school. He and I were in a very close-knit friend group for years, and his sister is one of my best friends. For years ago, he expressed he had feelings for me, and I immediately shut it down. Nothing ever happened after that, and we went back to being friends normally. Flash forward to 1.5 years ago. He met his bride, 22 female. The friend group never got to know her because the groom completely immersed himself into her social circle. The friend group would invite both the groom and bride to multiple events, and they'd never rely or show. The groom's sister told us the bride is very particular about which women the groom interacts with. The groom distanced himself from the friend group, but we all still considered him a friend, and once we got invited to their destination wedding, my 4 girls' friends and I RSVP'd yes and booked our flights. However, the sister of the groom warned us not to interact too much with the bride because she supposedly is not a fan of us. The wedding consisted of 3 events, 2 dinners, and the actual reception. Event 1 was a dinner at a restaurant. The bride's mother, who we'd met a few times, was going around saying hi to everyone. When she came to our table, she acknowledged my 3 other friends by name, and when I put my hand out to shake, she turned around and walked away. Completely caught me off guard, but I figured it was an accident. Then, at the end of the night, the sister of the bride was walking past our table and was staring at me. When I said hi, she continued to stare and completely ignored me. I didn't know what to think of the situation, but I brushed it off. The second event took place at a venue. When we walked in, the bride and groom were already inside, and when we tried to say hi, the bride grabbed the groom's hand and walked away. Later, all the guests were watching the couple take pictures at the front of the room, and the sister of the bride, 19 female, comes up to me directly and says, "Can you guys just give them some privacy?" So my friends and I abided and walked away. Then we all go to the dance floor and are standing around the couple in a circle, but I'm 3 rows behind. The bride's mother comes directly in front of me and starts flapping her arms to the music, blocking me off from seeing the couple. Later on the dance floor, the older sister of the bride stood directly in front of me and motioned for her cousin and younger sister to come stand in front of me as well, and this happened at least 8 times during the night. At some point during the night, I was passing by one of the bride's cousins, and she slammed her shoulder into me, knocking me backwards a few steps. She continued walking away and didn't bother to turn around or apologize, so I knew it was on purpose. At another point during the night, I was standing in the mother of the bride's direct line of vision, and she rolled her eyes at me. During the final dance, the bride's 2 sisters and her cousin again came and stood in front of me, and every time I would move, they would follow me. At one point during this game of tag, the little sister of the bride got annoyed and turned around and said to me, "Can you just leave?" I had had enough and went and told the groom's sister, who spoke to the groom's father and the bride's father. As we were walking out of the event, the bride's little sister looked me up and down and riled her eyes. After we got home, I seriously considered not attending the wedding, but the sister and father of the groom reassured me that I was wanted and should attend. The wedding itself was fine, and the bride's family didn't bother me at all. At the end of the night, the groom came up to my friends and I and apologized for his in-law's behavior. I'm now wondering if I overstepped by attending, even though I was invited. Let's see what the comments have to say. This person commented, "But pity the fool who married that whole mess." Another commenter said, "He told her he had previously had a crush on you, and she seems to have taken it for, this woman is 100% going to attempt to steal my man at my own wedding. You were invited. The groom wanted you there, his family wanted you there, and you did absolutely nothing wrong. The only people who overstepped were the bride's family, who spent an entire wedding playing toddler games and body-checking a guest. Not the asshole, full stop. Not the asshole." If you're enjoying these stories so far, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more. This aunt refused to fund her niece's birthday party and sent the girls money directly instead. And what the parents did with that cash is going to make you sick. Original post, https://www.reddit.com/m/ITheAsshole/comment/1tm1ps6/8 So, update time since some people were asking for one. For starters, I told my sister ahead of time that I will not be attending the party due to my brother-in-law's extremely annoying family, and I will not be helping with the cost because it is not what they want to do. Instead of attending, I sent my nieces money over Cash App 2 days after posting the original post and agreed to take them to the arcade next week for another birthday party. My sister and brother-in-law took their money and used it to buy fast food for themselves, my 3 nieces, and my brother-in-law's aunt. So there's that. Let's cut to this past Sunday, their birthday party. It stormed the entire time, and about 45 minutes before the party ended, it got extremely humid and gross. Their decorations were destroyed, the food was rained on, it was a mess. Just as I assumed, there were about 30 people there, and they received 2 gifts each and around $150 each from their grandpa, my sister's father, mine and my sister's great aunt, and their aunt, my brother-in-law's sister. One niece had no friends there because of the storm, and the other had a friend show up for about 30 minutes and left because of the rain. Barely any kids were there. My nieces are very much looking forward to going to the arcade and getting some boba. They seemed so disappointed in their birthday party, and I am genuinely upset for them. I wish they would have had a better party, but I will always strive to give them the best, even if I look foolish. Let's see what the comments have to say. This person commented, "How about open a new bank account under your name, and you hold the money for them until they are old and independent enough? Also, for in the future, if they have a job, it can be deposited to that account." Another commenter said, "That is one of the best ideas. Give them a way to keep their money safe. That way, when they have to escape, they have a fun that mom and dad can't get to." Not the asshole. You're the only adult in this story actually putting those kids first. You sent money meant for them, the parents snatched it for fast food, and you still plan an arcade day so they'd have something to smile about. You don't look foolish at all. You look like the only real one. Not the asshole. If you want to hear stories from different subreddits, let me know down in the comments. And that's a wrap on today's stories. So tell me, were any of these people actually the asshole, or were they totally in the right? Drop your verdicts down in the comments. I read every single one. If you made it this far, you're my kind of person, so stick around. I got a whole pile of even crazier stories coming your way real soon. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next one.